What is up, guys, and welcome to another PLO poker coaching play and explain. We are playing some heads up today. I've been playing a bit more heads up recently and going to be adding that into the mix, so I will be sharing some of that content. One thing to update you guys on first, the winner of the 2 hours of free coaching will be announced in the comments below. We did get to the 500 sub mark, so I will put the winner down in the below that is picked out of those comments. And other than that, let's jump into some heads up action. We're playing a recreational guy over here that's been running pretty pure, so we're gonna see if we can take him down. Check back on the flop here. Not a fantastic flop, obviously, but we do have the gut shot and the top pair, and he does check after he's been c-betting at a pretty high clip, and then delay bets the turn, so I'm going to call here, and we do have two pair now. He does check, and obviously there's aces that we're going to be behind, but I don't think we're ever getting called by worse. I don't think that he's going to call with like kings or queens here with hearts, so I think that we do just want to check back, and we do take it down. He did actually have probably the one ace-x hand that would have called us. He didn't decide to turn it into a bluff. So top pair gut shot, queen high flush draw. We're gonna raise this hand for sure. And on the 8 turn, obviously with a heart blocker as well, I mean, I think we can just pot. I mean, we are a little deeper here, so maybe I do want to check here. This guy has been slow playing like some 2 pairs and sets on the flop, so I don't mind check calling here. This bet quite large. Obviously, we might be able to bluff some hearts on the river. I don't think it makes sense to raise here. I think we're just going to get in against 2 pair a lot of the time. And we continue to brick. So every draw gets that. And he says ship it. And yeah, I mean, had it been a different heart, I may have opted to lead, but you know, we don't block any of the strats. Any of the backdoor strats, we block spades and we block the ace, so not a great spot to miracle. And this guy has been calling pretty light, so I'm actually okay betting the S4 here with the backdoor flush draw. Do turn a boat. So obviously his ace-king type hands should be raising the flop a lot of the time. So I think we can continue just to bet quite large on this turn and get some value from ace-x. And we do get raised now. It's a tough one if we just want to stick it in now. He could have a hand like ace-queen, but obviously we're dead against ace-king. We will be guessing on a lot of rivers. Yeah, there's just not really any draws out there, so I have seen him slow play some hands like ace-king here. I mean, we're not going to be folding at the turn, obviously. And it's actually a pretty great card because he could value bet more easily now with a hand like ace-queen. But he has been running very pure, so ace-king would not be surprising here, but we obviously can't fold. So flopping a jack high flush, blocking one of the pairs. I think we actually do want to lead on this turn because we will get called by a king X and we can get some value there. Obviously blocking the 6 is nice, and we do block the straight as well now, so I think it starts getting a little thinner. So I think we can just check. Oh, we do actually block a 5 as well, so I don't mind the block bet here. And yeah, he calls us down with the aces and flush blocker, which is fine. He hasn't tended to turn his blockers into bluffs too much yet, apart from in one big spot. Here with queens, no real reason to bet. We obviously don't need protection from much. We block a lot of the straight draws that can roll off, and we are pretty far behind a king. We block a lot of the under pairs, but he might call the turn with a 9 and a gut shot or something like that. And we do flop the nuts with a spade blocker. And turn relatively not great card for our range. We can obviously value bet small on the river here. And I have been stabbing a lot, given that this guy, he was folding a decent amount to bets on the flop, but has kind of dialed it back. I guess we could check back here. We do have some showdown value, but we can't really call many turns, so you know, I think the bet is probably fine. Could go either way. And on the deuce, we do need some protection, and most of the time that he's checked twice, and when I bet small, he has given up. So I would rather just clean up even the 20%, 30% equity that he might have in that spot with some random overcards. And pairing a gut shot here with some pretty awkward turns to play. I think we can just go ahead and bet. And we turn the open ender and a diamond blocker. I definitely wouldn't want to get raised off this hand, so I think we just want to check back here. We might have some gut shots. We do have some showdown value, and we can bluff catch on a decent amount of rivers. This not really being the best one. We'll just take our showdown value and check back. And he does have the better jack. And even with an ace, we're going to fold most of the folds. We're defending still 70% of our range, roughly, but most of them are going to be the rainbow or mono hands. And we'll just be check folding this flop. Don't really have a hand that we can barrel off on many turns, given that we only kind of have a pair blocker and maybe a straight blocker, but that may come quite useless on a bunch of runouts on a reasonably heavy board. And just gonna check here with two pair. Makes sense. I have a backdoor flush draw and very limited equity in checking back. I am just going to stab this board. There are a couple turns we can apply pressure to. Obviously without a heart and some added equity, I'm just going to check back on this turn. And I don't think he's ever folding a flush, and potentially not even a 10. This guy's quite sticky, so fortunately I think that we just have to check and lose 90% of the time. Yep. Didn't mean to do that, didn't see that we had trip nines. And then obviously, heart or any real blocker. I'm just gonna check back and fold. Definitely a misclick. Other pair, weak diamond draw. I don't really think that we would raise against a bet there with just pretty marginal equity everywhere. And I'm just going to be check folding this river. Pretty marginal defend. But this guy has been reasonably passive, so I don't mind it. And get to show down a decent amount. And he's taken this line a couple of times before where he just checks back twice and then pots the river. And every single time it has been for value, so. Not that we had a great hand to be calling mammoth anyway. But. And we'll just call, yeah. And not much equity here, but really, without a spade, without a pair blocker, I think it's just a very likely board that he check raises with, especially this player who doesn't really like playing kind of turns and rivers. Like, you could definitely see him doing this with aces or ace 9. Also kings though, so we will see. Now that we river some showdown value though, I think we do just want to check. Even though we kind of block the pairs that we are now being, like jacks and 10s, that he may play like this. Kind of feels like kings. It's a little strange to rep it at this point though. And that was quite weird that he doesn't c-bet that hand with top and a spade blocker. It's a hand that I might actually check raise, given that we just have pretty weak hand. Actually, we don't block the straight, so I probably would just go for the check call. But with a weak flush draw and a pair blocker, often it's a little easy to go for a check raise and just push out some marginal higher flushes that might be stabbing the flop. And with this hand, I mean, we do block the flushes, and I think we're about to run out of time, but I think I'm gonna fold. Obviously his value range at this point is nut flushes, which we do block, and boats, which we do block. I think I should fold. Yeah. A little bit of a short time bank over here, but I think given that we block the flush, we block straights, we block a jack on the flop, I think that he does end up with a lot of boards there, and as I said, this guy has not been seeming to bluff too much, so I think even if it's closer, it's a pretty easy fold. And here are some future blockers. Oh, we do actually have the jack here. I think that we can check here. We have some decent playability on turns, and can be a solid bluff catcher. And just again, against this guy, I'm going to use a small sizing on a lot of turns, and then just check back with some showdown value. And moves to the 5. And I'm actually going to 3-bet these queens. We're marginal with the deuce. And I think we can just check call here with backdoor flush draw. Pair blocker. Turn the king. And we're obviously now blocking a good amount of his continuing range. Obviously he doesn't have aces. We can get called by iron straight draw type hands. I think I want to bet a little bit of a larger sizing here though. We do get check raised. We do get raised, sorry. And I think that we just have a pretty straightforward fold, given that we're dead against any value. Yes, obvious 3-bet with the aces. Up 2 pair and a straight blocker. I think we can get value from some pair and straight draws that we're obviously doing very well against. Doesn't change too much on the turn. So against this guy who has been calling pretty light, I'm going to continue barreling. It's obviously not a fantastic river. And honestly, we lose to a lot now. So I do kind of want to actually turn this hand into a bluff and still wrap a straight, try and fold out overpair or like 8x that had a gut shot that is going to be likely much better than my 8x, and we do get the fold. And we flop top pair on a relatively dry board. And so I'm going to go for a large c-bet. Bottom pair, no heart, and some overcards. I think this is a clear check back. We turn a gut shot, and I think we can just check down again. Our overcards are probably good if we hit them, and we do not. So, pretty easy fold on the river. And another hand that I'm going to be turning into a bluff after checking back a couple of times. And we'll just be check folding this flop. That is an interesting turn though, that I think that we now kind of have to bluff out with the best blockers. Just straight and flush. And having the low heart there does actually help, because we kind of almost block 2 flush draws. Given that, you know, he's going to be banging a lot of the higher flush draws on the flop. And so when we have the lower flush draw, we actually obviously block that particular flush, but also, you know, exclude the sort of like king high, queen high flushes from his range too. So overpair with a flush draw. I think that we can actually lead here. This guy really isn't check raising too much, and we obviously have decent equity against most of his range. Might not actually be a 3-bet with the king high suit, but with the low anti-connected ace king, I don't think it's too bad. This guy is actually folding a lot to 3-bets, it seems like anyway. 27%, yeah, so reasonably high. Obviously don't want to have to bet fold the king high flush draw here. King high flush draw much more valuable in heads up than a 6-max, and we really don't have much else to go with it apart from, you know, the low gut shot. So, and we turn the second nuts. Well, I guess the 4th nuts. After checking back the flop, I will actually have more nut flushes than I usually would on a non-straight board, but I think I still do want to go small here. I think he can call us some straights. We do block a pair, so we don't need too much protection. And then I think we want to go large on the river. We could try and get value from a straight with a smaller sizing, but we do obviously unblock a lot of the low flushes too. So blocking a pair, some straight blockers, and 2 flush draws, I think that we can go ahead and lead this time. Given that we can likely call a raise. Just need some protection with our low pocket pair. And with 3 overcards, with the 7, I'm going to check back just because obviously we can make some decent 2-pair hands on the turn. And we don't block really any of the straight draws, we do have 1 diamond. Turn a gut shot, flush draw. We still obviously only have a 7 and 3 clubs. Again though, I would probably check this back against most people, but against this guy who's just been folding so often to these small bets, and he's never folding a king. I mean, we saw him call down relatively light in the last hand, so you know, we do beat some of his draws, but I think likely he has a king or a 10 here, and we're probably going to lose a good amount of the time. It does have queens. And just folding. I mean, this is a very good board for his range. And our particular hand obviously whiffed. Yeah, even against the small sizing, I don't think there's too much to do here. I mean, obviously have a backdoor wrap potentially, but we're just very far behind a lot. And I'm going to bet this flop with a 4 and a 3 blocker. Like the 7-8-4-3 does block a good amount of his fives in his range. On the ace, this is usually a pretty good card for me here, especially blocking the straight as well. And I think I do want to continue and fire here. He has slow played some trips a couple of times. So I will not be tripling off for this hand. And we will be check raising with the 3-pair. I'm gonna check raise a little larger than I probably usually would against this guy, just because he's not folding any ace at this point. He does call, and pretty bad turn card, obviously. So with my check raising range, I'm obviously going to have to check a lot of these turns. And depending on the size of the bet, without a diamond, it was pretty large. I think that we just have to fold here without a diamond. And we ran out of time anyway. But blocking all 3 pairs. Like anything that we're ahead of, we don't have decent equity against, and then when we're behind, you know, we have 15-20%. And I'm gonna go ahead and bluff this river, given that I do unblock all of the pairs, and I obviously can have diamonds or have a straight. And we get red. I think we're gonna wrap it up for this session right now. Not being the best so far, but probably gonna keep playing this guy, and so we'll potentially throw some more videos in. But for now, make sure you like and subscribe, because we will be having more videos come out this week and next, given that, you know, I am back from holiday now. Took a week or so off. So yeah, we'll be seeing some more of you guys, and thank you for tuning in, and good luck at the tables out there.